How much do product managers in India actually make? If you're a product manager looking for a job or looking for a raise or looking to negotiate your job, you need actual hard numbers. And if you're someone looking to hire a product manager in India, whether you're based in India or looking to access the awesome Indian talent base that is growing, you need to know these numbers. So I want to introduce Ankit Shukla. Hi, Ankit.
Hey, Akash, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so Ankit runs Hello PM in India. I run the product growth newsletter in the United States. We teamed up and made a bunch of social posts so that we could collect data from 1,019 Indian based product managers. And Ankit and I have personally cleaned all this data. We have taken out and chucked out all the people who we thought might not have correct data, which was about 45 data points. And we've cleaned it up to the people who we believe have answered truthfully because all of their numbers make sense in terms of the compensation they're getting for their title, for their years of experience, and for their company. So these are the actual data points, whether you're a company or you're a person, you should be using. So we're really excited to share this new data, and we think that there's literally nowhere else on the entire internet or world where such a large sample of data has been collected, especially in June 2024. So we're excited to share this is what the average C2C for that's the cost to the employer for Indian PMs is by level. So at associate product manager, we're getting 17 lakhs. Product manager 31, senior product manager 53. We see a big jump to 79 at principal group level, 99 for product directors, 121 for VP of product, and 130 for CPOs. So if you translate this over to US dollars for people, we're looking at 20K for an APM, 40K for a PM, all the way up to 156K for a chief product officer. So, Ankit, you're actually on the ground helping PMs get hired each and every day. What surprised you about this data? Does this seem like exactly what you were expecting?
Yeah, I think as it is as per the expectations, but to maybe help people understand what this data says is that understand that in many smaller startups, you'll never see like a person such as a group product manager or principal product manager. People who are over there, they have already gone ahead and built some kind of product, proven them. That's why they are getting that kind of salaries out there. So not a surprising piece of data, but yes, I think it aligns with what the market has been. And in the last 4 or 5 years, I think this new position of associate product manager and product analyst is on the rise. Initially, we didn't see like most of the people when they are becoming a product manager, they want to get into product management, they have to get into product management. So I think it's a great opportunity for people to get into product management through this new route.
100%. And so, if we think about that compensation, how is it distributed by level? That's really the most interesting question. What is the max? What is the median? What is the average? So, we're excited to share exactly that data with you all. This is how it distributes. So you can see these gray bars here. That's the median. And then you see these gray X's. That's the average. The average is generally going to be higher than the median, except for with the VP of product and chief product officer. Then at the bottom of the box, we have the 25th percentile. We have the top of the box, the 75th percentile. And then at the ends of the lines, we have the min and the max. And anything that is more than 150% the variance, that is tagged outlier. And so those are those dots that you guys see at the top. Those are all the outliers. So this is really the distribution. And what was amazing to me is you see that, there are probably some product managers working at a place like Google and Amazon that are making almost, up to 100 lakhs. But if you look at in senior product manager making 130, but the meat of people, the meat of people are really in that 20 to 40 range here on product manager. And it's like that you see that constant increase. So we see those averages that we had seen in the prior chart, and then the band gets wider and wider. So at APM it's a very narrow band, and then at chief product officer it's a much wider band. What else did you find interesting in this data, Ankit?
Yeah, I think a couple of things I find really interesting and insightful in this particular graph. I think as companies are evolving, I think some roles like product manager, associate product manager, they are more defined. So people know what to expect from a particular candidate. That's why they have like a very defined range of salary. So you'll see less variance. But if you go to a like a CPO level, things are not defined. And also like that's a leadership role. You are working on very big problems out there. And there are like I'm sure there are very 0 to 1 companies over there. And that is why I think there is a big range in terms of the compensation in terms of CPOs and all. And one more thing that I was able to find is that now I think in India, people have started to pay the product managers and other teams as well as compared to the developers. Because for a longer period of time, we have seen the developer in the leadership was something that was getting paid the most. And generally, the non-tech people were not at that particular part. So I think if we compare this graph to what the engineers are getting, that would be a very close bet.
Yes, I think now it has become much closer together. So the next question is, well, how does this pay by city? And everybody who knows the Indian market knows Bangalore is king, and that is what our data shows as well. We had enough data to look at the product manager and the senior product manager. And the first place we looked is, where is your company headquartered? And one slight nuance here is that a lot of the Google, Amazon, Microsoft PMs, they chose the Indian headquarter as their city headquarter here. So they're actually showing up in Hyderabad. So I think this is something that's going to be very insightful for folks that they may not have known, which is that the median product manager salary in Hyderabad at 28 lakhs is quite a bit more than what you're seeing in your Delhi and Mumbai's. 25 in Delhi, 19 in Mumbai, and Chennai all the way bottom at 17. So we kind of see
Yes.
this clear line where US and Bangalore companies, they clearly pay the most. Then you have your Hyderabad, then you have your Delhi, Pune, Mumbai, Chennai. Does this resonate with you, Ankit? What surprised you about this data?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the power of the large sample set that we have. Okay, and that is showing us not only like following our conviction, but also we are able to see a different kind of range. For example, if you look at Hyderabad versus Delhi, initially like before this particular survey, I was looking that maybe Delhi could be maybe better than Hyderabad. But now it is surprising to me. But when we go ahead and double click on the numbers, we were able to find that yes, there are like a lot of big MNCs, which is the Amazons and the Facebooks of the world and other kind of companies of the world which are actually headquartered in Hyderabad. So that might be reported. But I think if we go ahead and maybe further dissect down the data, exclude those kind of partners, then maybe those kind of companies, then I think that would be maybe similar to Delhi.
Yep, that's right. It's really the MNCs that are pulling up Hyderabad and even Bangalore and the US based companies that you see here. They're always able to pay the most. So if you're a PM in India, you should think about, how do I work for an American based company? I'm going to be getting paid quite a bit more in those roles. The
Yes,
other
yes.
interesting thing for me, I think, was that Mumbai is so much lower than Delhi. And that was a big surprise for me because it's one of the most expensive cities in India to live. When we double clicked into the data, we actually found that this is because in Mumbai, you're seeing a lot of fintechs and financial companies. So it's really the nature of the types of PMs employed that also affects the city's salary.
Yes, and also apart from the fintechs, it's generally the banks. The banks, if you consider all the traditional banks, they are headquartered in Mumbai, such as ICICI, Axis, and all. And if you look at their range, like in our survey also, their ranges of salaries, even for PM, APMs, is lower than what the other companies are paying. So I think that is also reflected in why Mumbai is at the bottom. Yeah.
Yep. So moving on from city, the next interesting thing is, as you gain years of experience working, how does that impact things? And we do find that exactly what you would expect, it scales. So if you have 0 to 2 years of work experience, your median, is in the 15 to 20 range. Moves up to 30, 40, 50, 70, 80, 90. So it moves up very quickly as you gain more work experience. So you can think, like, even if a PM, I'm starting this career and I'm only making 20 lakhs, most likely by the end of your career, 20 years from now, you would have almost 5x to your earnings. What other insights did you draw from this data, Ankit?
Yeah, I think we have to understand like in this profession, the great part is that as your impact, the range of your impact is increasing, your salary is increasing very exponentially. So even if you are starting at, let's say, a junior level in product management, if you are at it, if you are building your expertise, I think you have a lot to conquer. Plus, this is much if you go ahead and compare with how other industries has been doing, how other jobs has been doing, where you get only like the compensation and your increment at par with the inflation level. I think this is a great picture out there. However, I would maybe go ahead and add a caveat out there that as you are a product manager, make sure that you are always trying to solve bigger problems than what you have solved in the past. So that would be the session that I would have. Please don't go only with that. If you'll be in the industry, you are going to make more money. You'll have to show up for it.
Yeah, you have to increase your scope of impact. And having been a VP of product, I can say that a lot of product managers and senior product managers get the feedback, be more strategic. And what they
Yes,
really mean by that is you need to think, is the area that I'm working on even worth working on? Yes, we
correct, correct.
have this core product and I'm the PM of
Right.
that core product. Should we even invest in it? Is six
Yes.
engineers that I have the right number? So the best PMs, the ones who last, who don't get pushed out, they're asking that question.
Yes.
So the
Yes.
next interesting insight is how much do you get paid based on how big your company is? And we find a dramatic correlation where if you work at a company with less than 15 people in your PM, your median salary is going to be 15 lakhs versus at a giant company with over 5,000, it'll be nearly 32. So you can really increase your pay by moving to a bigger company.
Yes. So that's interesting to me as well because it is generally a thinking like it's a mindset for people that when I'm going ahead and working for a bigger company, I'll have to settle on a less salary because they are giving me some kind of, I would say, some kind of security or not. Okay. But if you look at great companies, even if they are giving you like I would say not safe job in these days, but if you are working for a bigger company where certain amount of structures are there, still you don't have to go ahead and maybe negotiate on a lesser salary. So if this data is available, I think this data is going to help a lot of people, and it is going to help a lot of people in order to negotiate rightly with their HRs and in the process of giving an interview.
Yes. If you're working for a company with over 5,000 and you're a product manager and you're only getting paid 15 lakhs, you should show them this data
Yes.
because we have hundreds of data points here now behind these and say, hey, the average is much higher and you should negotiate that raise. So before we go, we'll end on revenue of company, which
Yes,
is
just
also
one piece of
very
advice I
interesting.
would, yeah, just Akash, one piece of advice I would also add on that, the last remark that you made. Make sure that once you have gone through this data, you also check that company's link on Glassdoor and also compare with the industry benchmarks for that particular industry. Because what happens is that, let's say if you are working for a traditional fintech bank in India, then maybe you will have to further go into the graphs, understand the nuances of that before going ahead and putting that number to your HRs out there. We don't want you to lose that offer just because you've made an offer which is like shown above the mark in our survey.
That's true, actually. So you never want to go with over too hard, and you maybe
Yeah.
even want to link them to the entire report, which you can find in the
Yes.
description below, where we have
Yes.
cuts by industry. So we know that SaaS, social media, entertainment, and gaming, these are industries that pay more versus financial
Yes.
services and traditional industries and consulting that pay much less. So you need to be
Yes.
very aware of all of these dynamics that might affect it, but it's worth kind of surfacing to your HR, hey, this is what the latest data is, because they may not know that.
Yes, correct. And I've seen like a lot of people have gone ahead and they have like got into like very bad salaries initially. And what happens is that because this is the base on which you are going to get the further increments in life, you lose out on a big piece of money. Okay, so I would strongly suggest everyone, even if you're not looking to negotiate or actively interviewing these days, please look at the report once.
Yes. And that final element is the revenue of your company. So between everything we've shown you, use these various cuts of data to not only negotiate your job offer, but negotiate your next raise. And if you're a company, use these data points to understand what the range of acceptable salaries is. I, for instance, when I was a VP of product at Apollo, hired several PMs in India, for instance, at the group product manager level, which costs $100,000 USD. In the US, the total compensation that you'd pay for somebody like that is $500,000. So you can save 80% of how much you're paying And you might be able to get somebody of equal quality. That group product manager that was on my team at Apollo, he was as good as any I've worked at in America. So I wouldn't sleep on this Indian talent. And I hope that this report has kind of opened your eyes to the job market there. Have a good one.